Another season starts at the Abbey, home of Cambridge United, and this is a friendly match against near neighbours Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town winning that one 2-0. This is the opening day of the third division for season 1998 to 99, and a nice trip down to Devon to enjoy the sun at Plainmoor. Teams coming out to a beautiful day. Early moments and Torquay having the better of things.
It's going to be a great chance for Torquay. He was beaten away by that Morrison. And a corner kick to Torquay.
And that squabble just the start of things. By the end of the match, Torquay would have just 9 players on the pitch and be the victim of a dubious penalty. And early days, but that Torquay player must have been thinking about the Miss of the Season award. Cambridge United chances few and far between, and the Torquay keeper seemed up to it. Things changed in the second half though, as Cambridge piled on the pressure. Next we had an appalling challenge which earned Torquay their first red card of the afternoon. And not only was there a red card, there was also a free strip show behind the visiting end. This is the goal that won the 3 points for Cambridge, the dubious penalty. That was about a yard outside the box, but never mind. Chance to score the first goal of the new season goes to Martin Butler. Just 9 minutes to go, and the only goal of the game. So 3 points would be winging their way back to Cambridgeshire. This is the second red card incident. It was all too much for some of the Torquay supporters. Goodness me, the season only just begun. Time for a quick pep talk as 11 men took on 9.
To his left. Balls now for Taylor. Great save by Matthew Gregg.
A good start to the league campaign with an away win. Next it was the Worthington Cup and the visitors were Watford. And they were shocked to be 1 down after just 18 minutes. Trevor Benjamin the scorer. Yes, he enjoyed that one and he was close again just a few minutes later. And next it was Martin Butler's turn to have a go. Half-time and Cambridge certainly worth their 1-goal lead. In fact, Watford would consider themselves very fortunate indeed not to be 2 or 3 down. Here's the second half. A wonderful shot from Paul Wanless. Watford's best attempt was an appalling miss by Ronnie Rosenthal, the former Liverpool player. Deary me. Cambridge United 1, Watford 0, and the second leg to be played the following week at Vicarage Road. It was back to the league at the Abbey and the visitors Swansea City. An early jolt for the home team there. Swansea were looking good and almost made it 2-0. However, United were quick to respond and an equaliser was only minutes away. And in the 80th minute, Martin Butler silenced the singing Welsh contingent with the winning goal. This is Vicarage Road, home of Graham Taylor's Watford, who were trailing 1-0 thanks to that Trevor Benjamin goal in the first leg at the Abbey. Strange choice of music, that theme from the 60s TV series Z Cars. Don't know what the significance is. There's the Cambridge United travelling contingent.
And number 16, Alan Smart. The Cambridge United number 1, Arian Van Houston. Number 2, Ben Chenery. Number 3, Ian Ashton.
And they would be in for a treat. This is just one of the many Cambridge United corners. Trevor Benjamin beating the offside trap and almost putting Cambridge 2-0 up. It was getting embarrassing. Watford had hardly got a shot in, and this was just about their best effort. A shot that hit Rose head. But Graham Taylor probably put something in the tea at half-time and perked up his side. They were 1-0 ahead. But it was still just 1-1 on aggregate. Watford now in complete control and firing on all cylinders. But as at Torquay, a penalty late in the game came to Cambridge United's rescue. And up stepped Martin Butler to take his second penalty of the new season.
Goal scorer for Cambridge, number 9, Martin Butler.
1-1 and 2-1 on aggregate. In the second round, Sheffield Wednesday would be Cambridge United's opponents. It was a great performance and not even the Watford supporters could have begrudged Cambridge their victory. Away match now, off to Millmoor, home of Rotherham United. Kidd there could have put Cambridge 1-0 ahead, but it went horribly wrong in the second half as Rotherham grabbed 2 quick goals. The result could have been slightly different if Cambridge had capitalised on this golden opportunity. First a shot hits the post and then a penalty is awarded. On this occasion though, Martin Butler not as accurate as he'd been on the previous 2. Back at the Abbey, Hartlepool United were the visitors, and it took 80 minutes for the deadlock to be broken when Hartlepool scored. It was a shock lead that only lasted 7 minutes when Jamie Campbell forced an equaliser. It looked enough to save at least a point, but Hartlepool had other ideas. And as the game drifted into injury time, Hartlepool had just one more trick up their sleeve. Hartlepool, one of the less fancied teams in the 3rd division, taking this one 2-1. Well, Cambridge were inspired by a 3-0 away win at Chester during the week and then took on Scarborough. Martin Butler enjoying an early goal, and he'd soon make it 2-0, capitalising on a poor back pass by the Scarborough defence. It was all looking so easy, and Young's enjoying a rare first-team outing almost made it 3-0 just minutes later. But then things took a sharp turnaround. Scarborough claimed a goal. To make the half-time score 2-1. In the second half, Scarborough did the unthinkable. First an equaliser, and then with 9 minutes to go, they won the game by 3-2. Cambridge United did make a fight of it, but the Yorkshire side went home happy, unaware of what fate had in store for them at the end of the season. There was another 3-2 defeat 3 days later away at Scunthorpe United as Cambridge slipped to 14th place in the 3rd Division. Next home game saw the arrival of Leyton Orient in their Croatia-style strip. Yes, and the O's were looking rather good. 0-0 at half-time, and Orient doing all the attacking. But eventually the tables turned, and Orient enjoying a run of some incredible escapes. But it couldn't last. Indeed not from this corner. It's Jamie Campbell who gets the vital breakthrough and the only goal of the game. After that, Orient lost their grip of the match and only their goalkeeper stopped United adding to their score. A 1-0 win and another 1-0 win a few days later at Premier League Sheffield Wednesday.
But few could have imagined what was about to unfold when, with just over 3 minutes gone, Sheffield Wednesday regained possession inside their own half. The back pass, the simple option, but Wednesday goalkeeper Kevin Pressman wasn't paying attention, and Trevor Benjamin's determination was rewarded with a simple goal. Sheffield Wednesday tried their best to get back on terms, but Cambridge defended heroically. Jamie Campbell made a goal line clearance, and even Wednesday manager Danny Wilson said he admired Cambridge for their work rate and team spirit. The Wednesday team cost more than £20 million to put together, but they won't be looking forward to the second leg at the Abbey Stadium next Tuesday. Cambridge have the advantage of an away goal, and the last time they played Sheffield Wednesday at home in the FA Cup, they won 4-0. This one finished Sheffield Wednesday 0, Cambridge United 1.
That was a big thank you to Gary Maybe at Anglia TV for getting us those pictures after Sheffield Wednesday wouldn't let us into Hillsborough to film the match ourselves. 3 days later at Southend, and Trevor Benjamin does it all over again and gets another 1-0 win at Roots Hall. Time for the second leg now against Sheffield Wednesday. Anglia TV had our usual spot on the gantry, so we had to make do with these ground level shots. It was an unkind own goal which gave Sheffield Wednesday a goal and made the aggregate score 1-1. And the travelling Sheffield Wednesday band rubbed salt in the wound by playing the theme from Steptoe and Son. But they were silenced when Trevor Benjamin claimed an equaliser. The Premier League team had no answer to that one, and they were dumped out of the tournament. And in the next round, Nottingham Forest would be the next opponents. A great night at the Abbey. Just look at those supporters, and as for Sheffield Wednesday, their band was now silent. Back to reality in the third division now, and a bright start against Exeter City. John Taylor scoring the early goal, but there would be disappointment as Exeter drew level in injury time. Final score 1-1. Next, it was off to Hull City, and Hull City themselves sent us these pictures.
Saville gets the headed clearance, but the shot's fired in by Andrew Duncan, and Cambridge have taken the lead at Boothby Park. Andrew Duncan, an excellent strike from the edge of the area in the 31st minute of the game. Mustow has come short. Russell opts to go into the area though, and Wanless wins the header, and Cambridge are 2 goals up. Paul Wanless with a free header on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Hull City were already in trouble at the start of the game, and they're in deep, deep trouble now.
Deep, deep trouble indeed, but Hull's finishing hardly helped them. Some of the worst finishing you'll see all season.
Breaking from midfield, all of them offside, clearly offside though. Neil Mann has carried on. There are 3 unmarked in the centre for Neil Mann, and he runs beyond him. And David Brown has put it wide of an open goal. Mann. It's a good ball to find Saville. Mann again with a good cross in. Haley's there. Real chance of Peacock. And for the second time in as many minutes, a Hull City player has missed almost an open goal. still have hope. Race crosses deep. And Joyce has got there, inside the area. Joyce's cross! And amazing miss by Andy Saville.
Amazing is not the word. Yet another incredible miss. And when chances like that go begging, you can be sure the opponents will punish. And Cambridge United did just that. 3-0 winners.
There is a striker. And with him being brought on, that'll mean Cambridge's 3-man strike force is restored, as they think the match is now beyond doubt. Benjamin did well to win the header, and Trevor Benjamin is there again and fires home the goal that will seal Hull City's home defeat. And Trevor Benjamin, after a relatively...
An easy 3-0 win in the end. Next to the Abbey were Brighton and Hove Albion, those hapless and homeless seagulls. Now that was a problem. The Cambridge keeper down and badly injured. ...19 minutes and Brighton and Hove Albion take an unlikely lead, but it only lasts for 6 minutes. John Taylor hoovering up that chance. All square at 1-1, but shortly after that goal there had to be a change of goalkeeper, and on comes Paul Wanless. I say on, he was already on the pitch, but he came on with a yellow shirt and went off with a green one. And every credit to Paul. He kept a clean sheet for the first half of the game. Time for a rethink before Paul Wanless takes over between the posts. And it looked like United had scored a second goal. Unlucky though, it bounced off the post. Half time 1-1, but Brighton soon gained the lead again in the second half. Paul Wanless in the Cambridge goal had little chance with that one, but later on he was lucky to stay on the pitch. Any normal goalkeeper would have got the red card there, but a substitute goalkeeper and the referee took a lenient view, just the yellow card. Tiny Jeff Minton there scoring, putting Brighton 3-1 up, and those supporters at the visiting end can hardly believe what they're seeing. Seagulls go home, if indeed they had a home, with a 3-2 win.
He's sending off. He's sent off Mike Ford. Can he get back on the goal sheet? No, he can't. Great save by John Hall. Taylor. Taylor. An opportunity here for John Taylor, and he's scored. Well, Ninian Park cannot believe it.
John Taylor's 90th minute goal there, silencing the Ninian Park crowd. A few days later, there was a 3-3 draw with Halifax, and here is Shrewsbury Town at the Abbey a week later. It ends in a dreary 0-0 draw, a stark contrast to the next game.
For Cambridge in blue here, and few people around the country would have been surprised as Nottingham Forest built up a 3-0 lead. After all, Forest are in the Premiership. Cambridge were the only third division side left in the competition. So as goals from Dougie Freedman, Craig Armstrong and Marlon Harewood went past goalkeeper Sean Marshall, the 3,500 fans who made the journey from Cambridgeshire looked like returning home disappointed. But Cambridge had one last throw of the dice.
We took a defender off, put an extra forward on, and all of a sudden we started to click. All of a sudden we started to move the ball and create chances and create openings.
Move worked wonders. With just over 20 minutes left, Trevor Benjamin made it 3-1, and Cambridge sensed an opportunity. Five minutes later, the travelling fans were cheering again as Martin Butler added a second for the underdogs. And then amazingly, Cambridge equalised with a penalty after a handball incident which resulted in the dismissal of Forest's Thierry Bonnelaire. John Taylor the scorer. 3-3, and when extra time failed to break the deadlock, the match went to penalties. Marshall in the Cambridge goal saved the first kick from Forest's Andy Gray. But a topsy-turvy shootout had reached 4-3 to Forest when Benjamin stepped forward needing to score, or Cambridge were out. So Forest threw on penalties, but Cambridge full of praise for their fans.
They've made it a wonderful night, not only for me but for the young players who perhaps sampled it for the first time, and they'll do well to beat that in the next few years when they're going on their travels.
That was a feeling shared by manager Roy McFarland. Beaten and wet through, but with pride intact.
A truly magnificent performance there at the City Ground, Nottingham. A few days after that game, Cambridge United were in Nottinghamshire again, and this time they got a 3-1 win at Mansfield Town. This is the table at the 6th of November, and as you can see, the four clubs that did get promotion at the end of the season are already there. That's Scunthorpe United, Brentford, Cambridge United of course, and Cardiff City. Next at the Abbey were Barnet. John Taylor's goal after 15 minutes, and 7 minutes later it's 2 thanks to Trevor Benjamin. But some shaky defending, letting Ken Charlery to hand Barnet a lifeline. A goal that Mr. Charlery, the former Peterborough striker, enjoyed, no doubt. But I'm not so sure he enjoyed this superb free kick from Alex Russell. Mr. Charlery, though, did have the last word, claiming a consolation goal for Barnet. Away games at Peterborough and Telford were followed up by a home match with Darlington. That put Darlington 1-0 up at half-time, a stunning goal, it must be said. But it wasn't until the second half that Cambridge earned an equaliser via John Taylor. Darlington, they looked happy with their point, but an own goal would ensure their trip back up the A1 would be a very miserable one. And the following week there would be a miserable trip for the Cambridge United supporters and players off to Macclesfield for an FA Cup match which ended in a 4-1 defeat. Back at the Abbey though, here's Plymouth Argyle in their traditional green. No penalty there despite a lot of claims. This game ended 1-0, very, very close match. And it got a little bit nasty after that. 1 or 2 yellow cards and eventually a Plymouth player getting a red one. Crunching tackle there. Boxing Day now, just 2 minutes on the clock, and Rotherham United about to let in a soft goal. John Taylor quickly gobbling up that error from the goalkeeper. And Trevor Benjamin getting a second. Half time and some dreadful weather, but it seemed to suit Rotherham United, who quickly fought back to 2-2. It looked like the Scarborough match all over again. Rotherham United piled on the pressure, but they were lucky here when the goalpost saved them. The visitors then decided to sit on 2-2, but Neil Mustoe had a shock for them. A little Christmas present there for the Cambridge United players and fans alike. But 2 days later, it was the long haul up to Carlisle. Fans that made the long journey were rewarded with that Alex Russell goal after just 2 minutes. The lead held firm for a further 26 when Carlisle got an equaliser. But that was the last we saw of the Carlisle attack. In the second half, Cambridge United had all the chances. Martin Butler there, one-on-one with the Carlisle keeper, but the keeper makes a fine save. This time it's against the crossbar. Martin Butler again unlucky. A draw had to be settled for, and a few days later, January the 2nd, another draw away to Hartlepool United 2-2. The team in white are Northampton Town, and they've just gone 1-0 ahead in the Auto Windscreen second round tie. But the Cobblers' lead lasted just 3 minutes, half-time 1-1. The joy on those Northampton Town supporters will be short-lived. 4 minutes later, they were no longer 2-1 up, they were 3-2 down. Trevor Benjamin, and then rather fortuitously Martin Butler doing the damage to the Northampton side. A home win and a home tie against Exeter City in the next round. And here's another Devon club, Torquay United, with a celebrity goalkeeper, none other than Neville Southall, formerly of Everton and Wales. He showed he could still do the business too. 1 or 2 excellent saves. One or 2 hearts fluttering here as Van Houston makes a blunder when he tries to kick away this back pass. Oops. And perhaps that could have been handball. After all, it was a back pass, and The Cambridge keeper should really have kicked it away, but no matter. 59 minutes on the clock now and a goal at last. John Taylor there doing the damage. 7 minutes later, Neil Mustoe scored a second, and the game as a contest was over. At least this time, Torquay managed to keep all of their players on the pitch. Final score 2-0 and a useful double over the Devon side. History about to repeat itself now in the third round of the Auto Windscreen Shield. Exeter City are back, they drew 1-1 in the league, and here they are doing it all over again. Trevor Benjamin there, scoring to put United ahead. Exeter City, though, responded. They hit the bar there and equalised on 65 minutes when Flack scored their vital goal. And I say vital because it earned Exeter City extra time. And with extra time came the golden goal rule, which applied to this competition. Exeter City having the best of that half, but the very last kick of the match belonged to Trevor Benjamin. How cruel. There went the final whistle. And Trevor could have been a hero there with the last kick. Never mind, it was down to a penalty shootout. Having got all the volunteers sorted out, it was time for the penalty shootout. Martin Butler first. Exeter City equalising. Paul Wanless making it 2-1. Back came Exeter again. In goes the third, and now the game takes a twist. Joy as Exeter City missed that one. And Joy as Alex Russell gets that one. It was down to Andy Duncan. (5-3) then the penalty shootout. This is Chester City in Division 3. Tremendous shot there from Richard Walker. And for those of you who are not keen on the short corner, have a look at this. Well, it went in eventually, didn't it? Paul Wanless the scorer, 1-0. Chester came back though. But they needed a dodgy penalty to equalise. In the second half, a needless corner cost Chester City the game. 2-1, the final score. Jamie Campbell hitting the winner. And there's a healthy looking Division 3 table at the end of January. Cardiff City in top spot and trying to pull away, although they had played 2 games more than the Cambridge United in second place. There's Scunthorpe in third, Brentford in fourth, Mansfield Town, who would have a bit of a shock when they came to the Abbey a few weeks later, and Halifax Town, fresh from their excursion into the Vauxhall Conference, in 6th place. This is Carlisle again. We'd only just played them, but they were back at the Abbey for the return match after drawing 1-1 at Brunton Park. Trevor Benjamin there, but a little too high. Next was Alex Russell, a little too wide. And at the other end, Carlisle nearly surprised the Cambridge defence with this sneaky attack. The game was decided when Martin Butler pounced on a goalkeeping error. That gentleman made up for it moments later, though, with this tremendous save from Trevor Benjamin. Final score, Cambridge United 1, Carlisle United 0. Next, a little change. We decided to film the reserve match against Arsenal, and over 1,500 people attended the Abbey for this 6-goal thriller. First United goal there, Michael Kidd. On 42 minutes, it was Youngs who added a second to give the home side a very healthy lead. The Abbey was closed for this game due to having some extensive repairs, as you can see by these pictures. They'd be ready in time for the Scunthorpe United League match that was 10 days away. There's just some of the work that was going on. In the second half, would you believe it, Arsenal scored 3 goals in 7 minutes. But still time for Cambridge United to equalise and at least get a draw from the high-flying Gunners. Obviously lucky Arsenal applies to the reserves as well. That shot hitting the bar, but here's that equaliser. Following Saturday, the first team beat Scarborough away by 5 goals to 1, a remarkable away win that, and then it was the turn of Scunthorpe United to visit the Abbey. The defence there hanging on, 0-0 draw this one, but it wasn't such a bad game. John Taylor there trying his luck. This is the second half now. Pity really, but Cambridge United just couldn't crack the code. 0-0, 2 away defeats at Walsall in the Auto windscreen and Orient in Division 3. Here's Southend. Incredible strike from John Taylor. Southend United came close once or twice, but they were killed off by 2 Martin Butler goals. That precision lob giving Cambridge United 6 points out of 6 against Southend.
Was back there with the header. And the shot going in, and it's crept into the net. What a strike from David Priest. Finally getting the better of Butler. Now Wanless putting it through the middle. This could be a dangerous ball. John Taylor with the shot. It's past Bays, and it's crept into the corner. And Cambridge are 2-0 in front. Butler playing it for Taylor, who's onside. Inside towards Butler. The flag has stayed down. And Martin Butler will make it 3-0.
A superb 3-0 win there at Exeter City. And this is how the league table looked. Rather nice, isn't it? Cambridge United on top spot. They'd knocked Cardiff City off and had a game in hand and were a point in front. In third place were Leyton Orient on a good run. And at the bottom of the table, it was a bit of a dogfight between Scarborough, Carlisle United, Hartlepool and Hull City. And in fact, Hull City were next to visit the Abbey Stadium for a midweek game. And they held on until 81 minutes. Trevor Benjamin there doing the damage. John Taylor close there. Ian Ashby made it 2-0 on 90 minutes. The following Saturday, a 3-0 away defeat at Barnet was soon forgotten when Mansfield Town arrived at the Abbey Stadium. It didn't take long for Cambridge United to go 1-0 in front. It didn't take Mansfield Town too long, however, to equalise. Not with this poor effort, though. But with this one, which had a hint of offside about it. But it was business as usual soon afterwards, Martin Butler making it 2-1. And that was followed by a clever lob from Trevor Benjamin, 3-1 at half-time. And after John Taylor was fouled in the area, Martin Butler stepped up to make it 4-1 from the spot. Mansfield Town then got a penalty kick of their own. Their supporters saw some chance of a recovery here as they made it 4-2. Unaware there of the horror that was to follow them before the end of the game. That was Martin Butler's hat-trick, 5 goals to 2, and now an incredible goal from Neil Mustoe. Richard Walker, coming on as substitute, scored the 7th goal with the last kick of the match. It was so late that some supporters wondered if it had actually counted. It most certainly did. Cambridge United 7, Mansfield Town 2. And in midweek, an away match at Shrewsbury Town had a disappointing end as the home side equalised on 90 minutes to make a final score of 1-1. This is one of the big games of the season, the arrival of Cardiff City. They were in top spot, Cambridge United are in second. But the game itself did not live up to the expectations and finished 0-0. Very few chances. I love the way that moose gets in all the photographs. This free kick, just about the best chance of the game. Ian Ashby's shot there, seen on the replay, not quite good enough. 0-0, but the league's top spot was regained a few days later at Gillingham, where struggling Brighton and Hove Albion play their home matches, a mere 70 miles away from Brighton. Just one goal in it at half-time, a goal from Paul Wanless. It wasn't difficult to see why Brighton were in the position they were with shooting like this. Mackenzie had a good chance to double the lead, but he was just wide. And here's one coming up in the second half now for all you spot the ball fans. There it is, right on top of the newsstand. I wonder if they got it back. Now, quirky camera position captured Jamie Campbell's second goal perfectly. 2-0 became 3-0 and the match was over for Brighton. Mackenzie getting the goal that eluded him in the first half. And what a class act this would have been. What a wonderful goal. What a shame for once the Brighton keeper was up to it. And that would have been 4-0. Wonderful football there. Brighton actually did claim a goal back of their own. It was their first in hours and hours of football, hence the ironic cheers. But the cheers down at the away end were because Cambridge United were back in top spot in the 3rd division. Time for a bit of a warm-up here. Just before the match against Halifax Town. They're back again after an absence of 5 years. And while the supporters are waiting for the teams to come out, you can always try your luck with a few lottery tickets. And another pre-match ritual, checking the programmes to see if your favourite players are playing on the day. Halifax Town, they weren't a bad side really, kept it down to 0-0 at half-time. Sean Marshall miskick could have caused a few problems. And somewhere in there was a handball that the referee spotted, penalty kick, and the chance for Martin Butler. Did he miss that second kick? Never mind. Half-time 0-0. All the goals coming in the second half. All 4 of them. Eventually the Northerners buckled and the first goal went to Richard Walker. Second goal now, and it's Paul Wanless. So Benjamin there, close with that effort. Just a little while later though, it's Martin Butler, 3-0. And John Taylor inevitably left his mark on the game, scoring the fourth with a great solo effort. Rochdale were in town for a midweek fixture and they shocked the home crowd with this goal. It just didn't seem to be United's night. And it took until the 82nd minute to get an equaliser. Good save, albeit temporary there on the Rochdale goal line, but from the corner, it's Richard Walker's equalising goal. He'd come on a substitute and saved a point. And there was another point a few days later, away to Darlington in a 0-0 draw. But this was the one everybody had been waiting for, the arrival of Peterborough United for the all-Cambridgeshire derby and a chance to avenge that earlier 2-1 defeat at London Road. And there's Marvin the Moose in generous mood, handing out sweeties and nibbles.
Peterborough United as per programme.
Nice to see the Abbey packed to the rafters in this all-ticket game. And there's John Taylor receiving his Player of the Year award. Just time to fire up the team. What a pity that Peterborough spoiled the party atmosphere in the 8th minute. But Cambridge United drew level thanks to Paul Wanless. But both sides continued to search for that winner. And although the weather deteriorated, it didn't spoil the game one little bit. And at the other end, John Taylor almost snatched the lead. Things got a bit nasty in the second half though, and it was inevitable that somebody would be getting a red card. Red card for that one-on-one challenge in front of goal. Off you go, son. You should know the rules. But this time the referee only sees yellow. What a relief. Still one last throw of the dice for Cambridge.
From Division 3 with a win at Rochdale. 2 goals from player coach John Taylor sealed it. Trevor Benjamin was fouled and Taylor scored the penalty with 7 minutes left. He'd only joined the action as an 81st minute substitute, but he scored the second a minute from time, a goal which cued the celebrations of a move to a higher grade next year. As for Taylor, well, he's seen it all before, but the celebration feeling doesn't diminish.
It's an achievement that I've been lucky enough now to have done 3 times. And if the lads here go on to do that, they'll have had a decent career, and that's what they should be aiming for. It's a big thing, monumental.
Champagne was cracked in the change room, and then everyone just looked at each other and said, we want the championship now, we want a medal, and the only way we're going to get that is by winning the league.
Last night they went out for me as boys, and they've come back in as men.
The title quest moved to Plymouth. Commentator Martin Dean.
To curl it in left-footed underneath the goal post, and oh, has it gone in? It has, yes. Ian Ashby might look to try the shot there. He's given it to Benjamin. Oh, that's a good finish. That's a very good finish from Trevor Benjamin. Now towards Heathcote, a chance here. Will it be forced over? Yes, it is. It's Glenn Crowe who's got the goal. Well, flick on from Benjamin. Butler. Russell trying to get the cross in towards Michael Kidd. He does well. Benjamin. And Argyle claiming that Benjamin was offside.
2 good away results there then. 2-0 at Rochdale and 2-2 at Plymouth. Now these scenes are a little unusual. They are Sutton United winning the Ryman League Championship, and that must be the biggest trophy in the history of football there. And we're showing you these pictures because in front of a large crowd, Sutton United returned to the Vauxhall Conference after beating former league club Aldershot 5-0. And we sent our cameras along a few days later to Gander Green Lane as Wimbledon reserves played Cambridge United reserves. Wimbledon sharing the Gander Green Lane setup at Sutton United. And seeing that big crowd for the Sutton United game, barely 100 people at this one. One or two lucky escapes there, and how about this for an escape? An incredible shot against the crossbar, but by half-time, Cambridge sadly are 3 goals down. One crumb of comfort, an early second-half goal for Cambridge United. But sadly, Wimbledon went on to score 2 more goals to win 5-1. Just guessing at the crowd there. And goodness me, what on earth's that, a pelican? This is actually Vetchfield, home of Swansea City, where the visitors are often made less than welcome. And that's their equivalent to Marvin the Moose. I think we should mention these loyal supporters here at the visiting end. The 3rd time they'd set out for this game, but due to late postponements, had been disappointed. Tonight was a nice warm night, and the game was surely going ahead this time. Early indications showed that Cambridge United had come to win and threw everything into attack. Boy, these Welsh supporters can certainly sing. One goal for Swansea and one arrest for him, and the ideal place for him just behind the main stand. At the Vetchfield, he can obtain free board and lodging there whenever he wants to behave like that. That's Swansea Prison. Now Trevor Benjamin received some terrible racial abuse after this challenge here. No doubt it did affect Trevor's game, and he was eventually substituted. Don't listen to them, Trevor. Just score against them again and again. Cambridge United's finest moments were at the start of the second half. 2 wonderful chances. But the Swansea goal survived, and the home side were soon 2-0 up thanks to a penalty. It ended any chance of a Cambridge comeback. Swansea City now keeping their hopes of a playoff place alive. 2-0 the final score. And Cambridge United now in second place, and a cruel twist of fate as the fixture list threw up Cambridge United at home to Brentford for the last game of the season. Winner take all there. If it was a draw, then Brentford would be champions. At the bottom, it was a dogfight between Scarborough and Carlisle United, with Carlisle United eventually coming out on top thanks to their goalkeeper scoring into 4 minutes of injury time. So Scarborough would be relegated. Everybody held their breath for the arrival of Brentford. And they certainly brought a lot of fans with them. Look at that lot. Brentford, it must be said, looked a class act. The beautiful May sunshine gave way to a near hurricane after only about 15 minutes of the game. And undeterred, Trevor Benjamin at the other end was just wide with a header. The first half though was mainly Brentford, and Sean Marshall did well to keep the score blank at half time. In the second half now, John Taylor looked to have scored the opening goal. Clean through, but somehow it just didn't happen. And there's John there, he knows he could have hit that a bit harder. And in complete bewilderment there, that was certainly a corner, but it wasn't given. And with Owusu scoring on 61 minutes, Brentford looked in complete control. Yet another fine save from the Brentford keeper. Final score, Cambridge United 0, Brentford 1. Somewhat disappointing, but second place, not bad at all really. Time to say a few goodbyes to the supporters from the players, for a few months anyway, when you can enjoy football once again at the Abbey Stadium, this time in the second division of the Football League. Three final analysis looks like this. Brentford champions, runners-up Cambridge United, also promoted in third spot Cardiff City. The fourth promotion place goes to Scunthorpe United. They beat Leyton Orient 1-0 in a playoff at Wembley Stadium. But at the other end of the table, it's heartbreak for Scarborough, not been in the league that long themselves, back in the GM Vauxhall Conference from whence they came, and promoted in their place are Cheltenham Town, their first ever season in the Football League, and congratulations to them. As for Cambridge United, we hope to see you all back at the Abbey Stadium for season 1999 to 2000 for the Football League Division 2.